Welcome back to Talking with Our Traders, a Caesars Sportsbook original series, the podcast that takes you inside the mind of the sportsbook with our very own Caesars Sportsbook traders. I'm your host, Cindi Edwards, and with me today and all season long, Craig Mucklow, Vice President of Trading here at Caesars Sportsbook.
Hello there.
And Joey Fiesel, Head of Football here at Caesars.
Hello.
Hey guys, how's your week been?
Good. Solid.
Do anything fun?
Yeah, watch Joey
Any
find
golfing?
a golf ball all week.
Yeah, it was a good front nine, not the greatest.
Can't believe I didn't catch an invite, but next time, I suppose.
You don't want to listen to me talk for 4 hours.
Okay, well, we have a very exciting college football weekend ahead, so let's dive right in. Are the Hoosiers now a legitimate college football playoff contender?
They are. They have the resume. They're 4-0. Now, was Illinois a top 10 team? Probably not. But it was what they were at the AP at the time, whether right or wrong. But I think they do have the offense. Cignetti still just loves to cover, loves to just blow out teams. He remembers the embarrassment they had last year in the playoff, and I don't think he's going to take it lightly this year either. Market-wise, they've gone from 125 to 1 to 40 to 1 to win the Natty. And again, I think Cignetti's on his vengeance tour. They have a tough path. They got to beat at least Penn State or Oregon to kind of get there, and then get in the Big Ten title game and make it close just to lock a spot in. But I think they have the with everything up and down in this college football year. You don't know who's good, who's bad. Why not Indiana? Because we haven't seen a true team just kind of punch through. This is the weekend with all the big matchups that we might see that team. So why not Indiana? I think this is the year. If anybody's going to come from the shadows or be that underdog story, it's going to be Indiana.
They're 17th in odds. They're no real liability. They're not even in the top 10 of handle. So
okay.
For me, no, they're not a contender until Joey prices them differently. They did get a statement win. They do have the new Heisman Trophy favorite for sure, whether that's by default or because you run up the score. But as Joey said, Oregon, October the 11th, Penn State, November the 8th. You've got to win one of those two.
Yeah, you got to win
and run the rest of the table.
Yep.
Right. Well, you brought up Heisman. With John Mateer undergoing hand surgery, what is the outlook for Oklahoma without their starting QB?
So yeah, Mateer was the favorite, 7-1. His loss definitely drops their ceiling. But what Oklahoma has been doing well, and it's kind of getting overshadowed, is they're playing really good defense, and they were kind of a defensive team first. Mateer was the Heisman candidate, but really backed by that defense. So the futures for Oklahoma have drifted from 16 to 22 to 1. They're not out of it, but man, did they have a tough schedule here on forward. But I think they have the defense to just compete and get into the playoff if they can kind of survive this back half of the schedule, because defense is going to play a bigger role for playing in the SEC, and especially with how this year is going. The backup quarterback, limited reps. I think he played in the bowl game. You don't know. Sometimes it could be good, right? The Ole Miss lost their quarterback. Guy came in here. Now he's going up the Heisman charts.
Right.
So one guy's not going to make the biggest difference, but usually the quarterback will. But in this case, I think the defense can hold up if they can manage their way through the schedule.
Okay. So not the end of the world
Not the end
yet.
of the world.
It just speaks volumes of betting into these award markets with players. And it goes back to what we said at the start. Like Arch Manning was 5-1 favorite to begin with, and you don't know injuries. So there's always a danger of betting the short price ones in these markets. So that's why you try and take a price against them. He was third most popular player in handle for the Heisman. Michael Hawkins Jr. will need to win one of the two tough games. One's against Texas, which they ain't all that. The other one's Ole Miss, which will be tough. And then you've got to win the two that are in between. They've got Joey's favourite team, Kent State, this week, so they should be okay. He'll have enough reps to blow off the cobwebs. But if he's back in a month, they've got to win 3 out of the 4. 2 of them they should win, and they've got to win either Texas or Ole Miss. But that schedule is really, really tough, and we knew that going in.
Right. All right, moving on. Clemson falls to 1-3 after losing to Syracuse as a 17.5-point favorite. My Orange, love to see it.
Called it as well, didn't you?
I did. I knew. I believe you backed that as well, Joey.
I think I backed the other side.
This guy had first half and full game.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. After Dabo makes all we do is win, get rid of me. Is Dabo done now? Like, come on.
He might be. I think for the last couple of years, he was resistant to this transfer portal,
Right.
which is showing to hurt him now. This is why some say Saban left, is because what Saban was able to dominate was recruiting, and this
Right.
this whole transfer portal stuff and NIL stuff just changed the narrative to where his strategy didn't necessarily work. And I think we're seeing that right now. We saw it with Florida State last year, right? They were coming in at the top 10 and they just were poor throughout the year. And that this might be Clemson's turn. Is Dabo a great coach? Yes. He might be done with Clemson though, and then maybe looking at somewhere else after the season. We'll see what happens, but yeah, things aren't looking up for Clemson.
What's the market reaction here?
500 to 1.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I can't remember who it was, but it was a football coach that says we play to win the game. Was it the Cardinals coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dabo needs to play the game to win the game, and playing the game is the NIL. Like, you
Yeah.
can't just ignore
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
You know, you can't just go and recruit as you normally do and build within and expect to win in college football. That's not how it works anymore. They're the third 17-plus favorite to lose straight up this year. South Florida over Florida was the biggest at 18 points. Notre Dame lost as a 28.5-point favorite last year, so nobody's beat that one yet. But Alabama's still got road games, haven't they?
Yeah.
Those favorites are only 5-3 straight up this year as 17-point favorites. So it just shows that every week there can always be a big upset.
Yep.
Right. All right. Texas Tech dominated Utah 34-10. Are they now the Big 10 favorite or Big 12 favorite?
They are the Big 12 favorite at plus 240. Look, this is kind of the polar opposite of Clemson, right? Texas Tech went all portal. They
Yeah.
went all NIL, and now you could see it reflect on the field. And Utah's a good school. They have talent up and down. They're well coached, and they just embarrassed them. Like Utah just really couldn't punch through. Devin Dampier, the quarterback, his Heisman odds are out the window, even though he was a very popular choice going into the week. Yeah, I think they might be still undervalued. Not going to have like the toughest schedule going forward, but yeah, they might be able to just handle this Big 12 and kind of go into the playoff and see if they can shock the world.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
4-horse race. Texas Tech, Arizona State at 425, Iowa State 600.
Yeah. All right. We can get into this a little bit more in our game previews, but are you guys viewing LSU any differently based on Clemson and Florida's performance this season?
Yes, somewhat. I mean, when they're on the field, you can just play what the opponent is in front of you, and then you can play this little, oh, well, they played that, they
Yeah.
played good, they played bad. It doesn't always work out that way. People are going to do that with the Colts. In the NFL, it's going to happen. But yeah, I think it's just LSU. What they haven't looked is explosively on offense, and especially in years prior. So I think it's more than that than what their opponent is. Just their offense doesn't look as sharp, and they got a big test this week, and we're gonna see if LSU is that good or if they're not.
Right.
It's funny you did this because that was like pointing where your drives went on Tuesday. As a big horse racing fan, form's a major contributor when you're looking at horse racing. They beat Clemson by 7. Clemson aren't all that. They beat Florida by 10. Florida aren't all that. So that suggests to me, on the form alone, LSU is not as strong as they appear.
Right.
And the odds reflect that because LSU are ranked 4, Ole Miss are 13, and Ole Miss are a favorite this week.
True. All right, we will see. Well, let's get into some game previews. Let's start with the Big Ten's primetime headliner featuring 2 undefeated teams, a rematch of last year's Big Ten title game. Number 6 Oregon versus number 3 Penn State. Joey, break it down for us.
Big game, Big Ten game,
big game.
Whiteout game. This has been on Penn State calendar from the beginning. This is the game where Franklin usually has a reputation of folding these big games. He does not want to do that here, and this is the prove it spot. But I think what Penn State has done, and usually you go into the season and Franklin has this reputation of just putting it on bad teams. They haven't really done that in the first 3 games. Is that because they don't want to show anything? They want to have vanilla offense or taking a different approach? So when they come into this game, you had 3 preseason games, we were undefeated. You didn't want to show anything. So is this when they bring out the the magic wand, show that the offense is very good. Maybe so. Line sitting at 3.5. It's not really budging. Total 52.5. I expect Penn State to be competitive in this one, but Oregon is a very good team. But it's a tough place to play in the whiteout game. Like this is going to be the stadium pulse from the college football game. This is the tough one. So I can't really pick a side on this one, but I'm going to be excited to watch it.
I mean, neither of these teams have played anybody yet. Penn State's 3 games, win differential 116 points.
Yeah.
Oregon's win differential 166. They're averaging about 40 points a game. They literally have played. They might as well play 11 traders on the floor. That's their schedule. Franklin can't win the big one. We've known that.
Yeah.
This is the first ranked game for either of the team. I'll likely probably side with Penn because they had the week off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was going to ask, is this the whiteout game? Because they always
It
have
is,
that on the
yeah.
night. Yeah. But the early money is for Oregon, actually.
Mm.
So at the moment, we're Penn fans, but that will change on Saturday.
That'll probably change on Saturday, yeah.
Right. Okay, next let's get into some juicy SEC matchups, starting with number 5 Georgia Bulldogs hosting the number 17 Alabama Crimson Tide. Both teams are obviously looking to prove their dominance. In their past 4 head-to-heads, Alabama has defeated Georgia 3 times out of the 4. Joey, should bettors expect another classic here?
It's always a classic, right?
Yeah.
This is always the best game of the schedule, whether it's an SEC championship game or whether it's just facing off in the regular season, and I expect the same here. Alabama appears to be in must-win territory, obviously losing that week 1. Georgia has looked steadier, but they haven't looked necessarily dominant. Like, that was a good comeback against Tennessee, but you put yourself in that situation to begin with, so maybe
Tennessee lost that game.
Yeah, Tennessee lost that game more than Georgia really kind of pushed forward through it. So, yeah, I think bettors are going to be split. You're going to see Bama money come in on this one. You know, it used to be death taxes in Alabama in the first half. Like, that's just how it always was, and that has not been the case the last couple of years. So, but we still expect some public coming in on Alabama, especially knowing their recent matchups in the last couple of years. And probably the sharps are going to edge on Georgia, just being that better team and not believing in this Alabama coach. So it's going to be another banger, this one, and it probably won't disappoint.
Is there a side you like?
Not really on the 3. I think I think I'm more leaning towards the over.
Over,
I think this is
yeah.
going to be a little bit of a shootout.
Craig's
you like
face.
to hear that, huh?
Craig hates to hear the word over. Cover your ears.
Was it Herm Edwards that said we play to win the game?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Just dawned on me. Georgia have yet to cover the spread on a main board game this year. Alabama in complete dire straits. Neither have played an under this year either on the main boards. I lean towards the over. Although...
Oh, that's why you were making the face,
like
because
that.
you're agreeing.
Because
Okay.
he keeps stealing my answers.
Yeah.
Although Georgia -3 just feels too good to be true for me. It feels like a little bit of a trap. We're already big Alabama fans. So like the bettors think the same way, that it could be too good to be true, but these are always classics and they're always close. So a more watch for me than an interest.
Yeah. All right, last but not least in our game previews, we have the number 4 LSU Tigers visiting number 13 Ole Miss Rebels. Both teams are 4-0. Both teams are 2-2 in their last 4 head-to-heads. So, Joey, who has the real advantage here?
I don't know. If you were on Twitter this week, you saw that Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating the linebacker for LSU.
I think everyone saw that.
That happened to be announced this week, and Lane Kiffin even commented, "Take the over in that game." So,
oh wow,
it's gonna be fun. Yeah, we see moving towards our Ole Miss side, kind of going back to is LSU just not as good as we think they are, and that's evident here with the line movement. This is going to be a good game. You know, both undefeated SEC teams. This is going to be very important for your SEC standings, getting into that SEC title game, locking in that playoff spot. Ole Miss, great quarterback. Trinidad Chambliss, something like. Really good quarterback. Kind of stepped in for Simmons and really didn't lose the job. So I like Ole Miss in this one. I like Ole Miss to get it done. I don't think, I don't want to do that. Oh, who would LSU play? I just don't think LSU's that great. So I'm taking Ole Miss in this one.
I like that.
Let me get this right. So the daughter of the head coach of Ole Miss is dating an LSU player?
Yes, and
Yes.
announced it this week.
Oh, Daddy's going to go mental.
They went
Daddy's home, yeah.
what you would call Instagram official.
I
She
wouldn't know that.
hard launched. So there was a photo posted. It's called a hard launch. Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Well, now I exactly know what I'm betting because Daddy's going to put him in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did fit until you just told me this. I'm glad I'm not on social media. This felt like a trap to me with the 1.5. Neither of LSU haven't beaten anybody convincingly. They haven't beaten anybody really. They're the higher ranked team on the road as a dog. It feels like LSU was a steal, but given that little nugget of information, I'm completely switching sides.
This game
You got to
means more
take the
now.
old man over
take the old
every
man.
time.
How does home field play a part here
Yes,
too?
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our picks, our college football game picks. What is your favorite college football game to go over?
We already talked about
Yeah.
this, but Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah,
Always a
Alabama,
banger.
Georgia. Both of us?
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Favorite college football game to go under?
We'll go to the boring game of the week. That's UCLA Northwestern. Under 44.5, I believe.
I did look at that one.
Yeah.
I've got LSU Ole Miss purely because of the running game. I think it's just killed the clock, but I'm gonna.
You might be switching.
I'm
now.
changing to the Ole Miss team total, just for the old men out there.
All right. Favorite college football team to cover the spread?
We're going Ole Miss, minus 1.5. Daddy's home.
Yeah, Daddy's gonna be home. Boston College minus 6.5
Ooh, against Missouri?
against Cal.
Cal.
Now remember why I took Stanford against Boston College because they went west east.
Yes.
Cal's going east
Opposite.
west. West east. Yeah, I'll get it right one day. So yeah, I'll take Boston College 6.5, and Cal got shut out 34-0
Yeah,
by
he did.
somebody's upset of the
Yeah,
week.
we think we both hit our upsets last
All
week.
right. Speaking of upsets, let's hear your upsets of this week.
I like UCF to take on Kansas State. I think that Kansas State, another one of those Clemson or Florida State last year where they're just terrible and they're not going to get better.
My first one, East Carolina, last week was awful, but for the second straight week, we got a 13-point home dog winning straight up, so I'm sticking with the plan. West Virginia over Utah, plus 360.
All right. Craig, any weather we should be aware of, bettors should be aware of before putting their bets in?
I'm going to have to go to church one day because this weather's not appearing. Thunderstorms, Wake Forest, Florida, North Carolina, and rain in Old Dominion, and that is it.
All right.
Not even Dublin has weather this weekend.
We'll take it. Let's move on to NFL. We have NFL Week 4. Let's start with a fun one now that we're 3 weeks into the season, starting Week 4. Have there been any noticeable betting patterns or surprising trends in the futures market so far this NFL season?
Does Browns winning a game count as a trend?
It certainly counts as a surprise.
Yeah. You're seeing some of the teams that are bad just trend way off the board. The Dolphins. Now with the Bengals, even though they're 2-1, they're pretty much as skyrocketed just because Joe Burrow is out.
The injuries.
And then you're going to see the teams kind of creep up. We're going to see how the Colts are because, again, are they the Saints or are they the Commanders last year? And so those are going to be kind of up and down. We saw the Saints probably go a little too high last year or low, however you want to look at it, and then they dropped off. So that's really who we're going to be eyeing on is the Colts and some of these kind of mid-team Buccaneers also fit in there. Are they real or are they fake?
I got a couple for you. So futures-wise, handle Bills, Chiefs, Ravens. Liability of the contenders that we're cheering against, 49ers, Steelers, and Broncos. Trends, year on year, first 3 weeks of the season, favorites straight up are 68.7% this year, plus 8.3% on last year. This is not good news to Joey's ears.
No.
Favorites against the spread, 53.2, up 6%, and overs, 45.8, up 3%.
All right.
Home favorites between 3.5 and 6.5 are 7-1 to the over first half. Home favorites a field goal or less are actually 10-2 under full game. And road favorites between 3.5 and 6.5 are 6-2 against the spread. There you go.
That was good. Thank you. Just what we were looking for. Okay. Next,
I read the question.
Next, I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts on worst undefeated team and best winless team.
Worst undefeated team I have is the Colts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the beat teams combined 1-8 record.
Yeah, and
yeah,
there's a lot of good undefeated teams, and the Colts could be good. We just don't know yet. But you got to actually face the competition first to see it.
Agreed.
They got their big test this week.
Best winless team.
Who do you have, Craig?
This really hurts me to say. The New York Jets.
Yeah.
Combined 8-1 opponents. They've had leads in 2 of them. The only other one the argument was for was the Texans. 7-2 combined, all three, and all three games, one score losses.
Yeah.
But it's the Jets, and they won't be winless after Monday.
No, probably not.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree with you, Craig. There, it's the Jets.
Jets.
It's not a great list of teams, but it's got to be the Jets.
All right. Moving on to the other New York team, the Giants have officially benched Russell Wilson and will be starting rookie Jackson Dart this week against the Chargers. Does the QB change affect game odds, total, etc. at all? And how?
Yeah, the market didn't panic that much. New York fans had to be excited because every time Jackson Dart would come out, they would cheer, and then Russell would come back.
Just
I mean, that has to be the worst feeling.
Tough.
But the market didn't panic and moved a point and it lowered the total. So expecting there's going to be some growing pains with this Giants offense. Craig talks about it all the time, rookie quarterbacks having struggles early on. But it's probably the right move for the Giants to do. I mean, this was in the game plan. It just maybe wasn't this early. Mm-hmm. But I think you feel the pressure when the fans are booing Russell when he comes on the field.
Yeah, at this point, why not?
Well,
what can you lose?
He's coaching for his job, man.
Yeah.
I honestly thought next week was probably the spot that Dart starts against the Saints.
Yeah, give him a confidence boost a little bit.
But I can see why he got benched because that last drive, well, not the last one, but near the end, the 2 passes out the back of the end zone and trying to run it on football.
Yeah.
What?
Weird.
Come on. Like, you're not even trying to win the game.
Yeah.
At least, even if you throw a pick, you're trying to compete in that game. And you had no interest in it.
No.
So you can see why. It will be tough because the Chargers is a great defense and it'll be a tough spot for Dart.
So basically take the under in that game.
You've been reading my notes.
I can just read your mind.
Read my mind. It's an easy book to read, that one.
All right, moving on to another QB scenario. It looks like the Bengals need a quarterback. Who should they target or what? What's happening there?
Why not Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston? We've already seen the
someone
Giants.
from New York, yeah.
We've already seen the Giants say, hey, we're going with Dart. There's 2 quarterbacks there. It's full. Why not go after them? Because there's everybody in the NFL, they don't want to get rid of their backup. You can see what happens when you have to go with your backup, and that's who's been game planning. We saw Mariota play well for the Commanders this week. Like, you just can't. It's hard to get rid of your backup. But one team that's already decided, hey, we're going with our man, try to take one of those. And Jameis Winston, he can play football, and he's a morale booster. Maybe that's what the Bengals need is a little bit of morale with Joe Burrow out. But yeah, I would target one of those Giant quarterbacks.
I like that.
I personally would keep Jake Browning because he got me a 6-1 winner last week with the defense scoring. But Jameis Winston's the answer. Great locker room guy. At least he can throw as many touchdown passes as pick sixes in a game.
Yeah.
And
I mean, with those receivers too,
But this is the thing.
Probably,
like, you've got these great receivers.
Right.
And you're throwing it to the defense. There's 5 picks in 2 games.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's insane. Okay. Another quarterback situation. Honestly, this entire season has been quarterback crazy. But should the Falcons bench Michael Penix Jr. and go back to Kirk Cousins after that abominable, awful performance last week?
Yeah. No. I mean, you made your bed. You got to sleep in it. Like this, you went out and you paid Kirk, and then you all of a sudden drafted Penix in the top 10. Why does Kirk Cousins want to play for you at that point if you've already made it clear? Last year, Cousins was dealing with an injury that really wasn't public.
Yeah.
His shoulder really hurt. He's still a good quarterback. And so I think that maybe they might be as good, but you got to let Penix grow, and the only way for him to grow is on the field. So you made your bed, you got to sleep in it.
this comes back to when we talked about the Dolphins the other week and the GMs. Like, Philadelphia do well because they've got a great GM. Baltimore always do well, great GM. And the head-scratching decision of paying Kirk Cousins all that money and then trading up and drafting Penix, you've made your bed. Now you got to sleep in it, and Penix is your future. Cousins has that no trade clause as well, so he's not going anywhere. No. So Cousins has got his guaranteed money. It's fine. Enjoy retirement, Kirk.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy the bench. All right. Let's keep the quarterback questions rolling. Did C.J. Stroud peak in his rookie season? Because it sure looks like he did.
Yeah, I think he did. There's some questionable decisions that they made on the offensive line in the offseason. It doesn't make sense for if you are trying to protect this guy. But he hasn't looked great since that rookie season, and I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think the problem with this Texans team is the offense. And week in and week out, they don't show that they do have that explosive. I mean, you have a great wide receiver, Nico. You do have options with Tank Dell down the line, but early, what I've seen so far, it looks like he has peaked in his rookie year.
He set the bar so high in his rookie season that it's always tough to repeat that. And we said this when we were looking at sophomore slumps. We said Jaden Daniels will still have a great year, but it's not going to be anywhere near as last year because he set the standard so high that you can't compete at that level all the time. They lost to two really good teams. They've lost to the Rams and the Bucks, and then they lost to a divisional opponent. Yeah, the problem is the offense, and they've got no offensive line.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on to the quarterback of the Eagles. Lots of questions there, lots of talk. I wouldn't say questions, but he's definitely getting it from the media. Hypothetically, how many quarterbacks are the Eagles 3-0 with?
Everybody but Jake Browning.
I like that answer. Craig?
I went the opposite way. I went not many.
Really?
Yeah. The tush push extends drives. How many of those quarterbacks in the league can squat 600 pounds like Jalen Hurts? And then you've got Saquon who can squat equally as many, and he's the one pushing. So now you've got 1,200 pounds. Throw in all the full starts. It just extends drives.
I have a technical question. So is the tush push the same as the quarterback sneak, or are these different?
Different.
No, they're different.
Okay.
I mean, it's similar, but it's different.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the quarterback sneak is somebody's not pushing from behind.
Yeah, it's
like
just
Saquon runs up to Hurts and pushes him.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas quarterback sneak is you take the ball and you just dive forward.
Dive in one of the gaps.
Left or right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. The Ravens fell to 1-2 despite leading the NFL in scoring. Are Derrick Henry's fumbles a serious problem, or is it the defense?
I think it's the defense mainly. I mean, the Derrick Henry fumbles in key moments, you can pinpoint that, and you can see that big time. And obviously, Derrick Henry was livid. You saw him throw his helmet.
I felt bad.
Yeah. You feel, I mean.
Why'd you feel bad?
No, there's not many giant men that I feel bad for, but I don't know. He was so sad. He kept saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." I don't know. I just felt bad.
Yeah, don't look for sympathy in my office.
But it's the defense putting him in these spots that, they are magnified when Derrick Henry fumbles the ball. But this defense on paper is supposed to be elite, and they have not shown us that yet.
That's for sure.
Any head coach in the league will tell you turnovers are the key metric, and they always go for it. Like the defense has to turn the ball over, and the offense has not to turn the ball over. And the most important commodity in football is the ball. He has given it up in key moments, but your defense is giving up 2 90-plus yard drives. That drains the defense regardless. You couldn't stop them on 4th down when they went for it. Then, when your offense comes on the field, you score too quickly, so your defense is coming back on the field with no rest whatsoever, and they're tired. So I would blame the offense and scoring too quick more than anything.
All right, Craig went with option number 3.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's move on. This is a pretty insane Genty stat. So, Ashton Genty tracker this season, 144 total rushing yards, 145 rushing yards after contact. Is the problem Genty or is it the Raiders?
So with that stat, what's that suggesting is he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage constantly.
Right.
So that's a Raiders offensive line issue to start. But if you're a top 10 pick, I don't care if you got to be, if you were picked at 6, you need to be astronomically good. And he came in as the rookie of the year, and he's not shown that yet. He hasn't shown that, we look at Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk played for San Diego State. He was one of the best running backs. Ashton Genty played for Boise State. He's not shown that he is that top 10 pick yet. So it's a little bit of both. I think your offensive line is suggesting you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, but you need to show more if you were a top 10 pick and being a top 10 pick and a running back, which doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
We didn't know this question was here, and we were discussing this on Tuesday while we were golfing, and Joey actually said something that was pretty on par for Joey. And he was comparing my golf game to his, and he says it's like men against boys. And in this case, Genty is not the man that he is than he was in Boise State. He's gone from being 3-1 favorite for offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, to the same price as somebody who hasn't even thrown a pass yet in the league. That speaks volumes. It's the Raiders' problem, and the reason it's the Raiders' problem is because running backs are out the equation when you're chasing a lead, and they're behind. So you're not running the ball if you don't have 3 scores.
Yeah, you have to give up that entire.
That's what gets eliminated first when you're losing. So the Raiders have to start winning games and start giving the ball and get a better offensive line.
Right. I like it. Let's get into our NFL game previews of the week. Starting with Ravens versus Chiefs. Both teams are 1-2, and one will be 1-3 after this matchup. So which team will start the season 1-3? The Ravens or the Chiefs?
I think it's going to be the Chiefs because I still believe in this Ravens team. I could see, even though they lost to the Lions, it's still, you can see that offensive explosiveness. And both of these teams have different problems, right? The Chiefs are having a lot of problems on offense. Missing their top 2 targets for wide receiver is very clear, and Travis Kelce just isn't who he once was. On the other side of the ball, Chiefs defense looking solid. Stopping. What did Chris Jones say to the Eagles? So you didn't even get 100 yards.
Yeah.
Their defense is strong. And then the Ravens have a different problem. Their defense is giving up too many points, and their offense is on fire, minus Derrick Henry's fumble. So I like Ravens in this spot. I do think they are still the best team in the league, despite that really not showing up in certain games. But just on paper and just when you see their offense explode, they have the ability to just run teams out of the building, and they haven't shown that yet. So I'm leaning Ravens in this spot.
Do you think they're going to make Derrick Henry hold the ball during practice? Is that what Bill Belichick used to do? You had to hold the ball the entire practice.
Didn't they do the same for Tiki Barber as well?
Yeah, they did.
Because he had problems and they had to hold the ball in some.
Because to your point, Joey, without a pair of fumbles that completely switched the trajectory of both games, the Ravens really should be 3-0.
Yeah,
there's a reason the Ravens are still only plus 580 to win the Super Bowl. There's no overreaction there because you see what happens on the field.
Yeah.
Since 2020, the Ravens are 21-8-1 against the spread off a loss. That's 72.5%. They've already handily covered the 11.5 against the Browns this year with ease. I make the Ravens 4% better value on the money line, but road favourites less than a field goal are actually only 4-3 straight up this year. The Ravens can afford the loss because they're in the easier division, whereas the Chiefs going 1-3 could be 3 back of the Chargers.
That's
tough division. All the money's for Baltimore right now. When I looked at the liabilities this morning, so I thought, wow.
So
whoops.
Where did they open?
2.5.
Baltimore, 2.5, and they still are 2.5. Can you explain that to me when it seems like the Ravens are such a better team?
Somebody wasn't listening to me on Monday morning when I said this should be 3.
You want to get to the 3. We're going to be hesitant around going 2.5 to 3 because you don't want to go 2.5, 3.5, 2.5, 3.5. So that when a game lands on 3,
you're in trouble.
So it's really that 2.5. It's still juiced towards the Ravens side, so it's minus 120. So you're kind of paying a premium every time you're betting the Ravens in this spot. Mm-hmm. But you're going to see, not only us but almost everybody out there. You really got to have something to get to that 3 because then you go to 3 and then people bet the plus 3 and then anytime a 3 or 7's involved, we know that it's a very key number. It could be just a field goal at the end of the game. That's where the hesitancy comes.
It will
That's good
absolutely
insight.
close 3 on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh,
Probably.
okay. So we both like Ravens to go or to not go 1-3.
21-8 tells me yes.
All right. Up next, we have Eagles Bucks. Both teams are 3-0, but the Bucks haven't really faced any quality opponents yet. So this will be their toughest test to see if they really are that contender versus pretender. I think you both called the Bucks pretenders last week. What should we expect from this matchup?
Fun, chaos. No, I think the Eagles are the better team in this spot. And yeah, I do not believe this Buccaneers defense, or really the defense or even the offense. I think the Eagles definitely got away with one. That was an electric ending. It was kind of overshadowed in the training room because we were watching the Browns actually win a football game. But, the Eagles were down early. The Rams looked like they were going to run away with it. They fought their way back, ended up covering, wild covering. I mean, it could have, they make that field goal game over. But that shows just the resilience of this team, and they don't have like a Super Bowl hangover. They're still grinding each week. Everybody's talking about Hurts. Is he a really good quarterback? Is he not? So I think they're really going to put him on the Buccaneers this week. I like the Eagles.
Unfortunately, I don't have a spread against the spread stat for teams that should have lost last week because they both should have lost. That was like it was crazy because on the trading floor you got 3 games all at the same time that were like really critical.
Yeah,
to us,
last
and
week
we got
was
one
fun.
of them. Browns, Bucks come back, and the Eagles.
Yeah.
No real opinion for me. I make the game 3 Eagles, so I slightly perceive the value on the Bucks. Money wise, small position on the Eagles currently, not as much as interest as we thought there would be. On this one.
All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football, where the Cowboys will welcome back Micah Parsons. Parsons will roll into his old stadium with the Packers as 6.5-point favorites, I believe. Is there extra motivation here? And we heard Jerry say there will not be a tribute to Micah on Sunday night. What do we think?
Yeah, I think Parsons really wants to stick this to the Cowboys. And what we've seen the Cowboys without Parsons, they made Caleb Williams look like the Heisman Trophy winner again last week. The Packers have that problem where their offense has not been that great this year. And this is why they lost to the Browns. It's just because they weren't able. If you're playing the Browns, you should be able to easily get 2-touchdown lead. It's the Browns. Everybody does this.
They had one eye on this game.
They might have. It might have been a look head spot. And so that's really going to be the storyline. I definitely think Parsons really wants to stick it to Dallas. And the Packers is easily probably the number 1 defense right now in the league. But the offense, I know, is going to struggle. And the Cowboys' offense doesn't look like they have that many problems. Obviously, you're going to be without CD. That's going to make an impact. And that's where we see this line it opened up 6 and it touched 7 for a while. And it shows usually that's not the case, but when you have a top wide receiver in the league, that's going to make an impact, especially against how this Cowboys defense has looked thus far. So I still think there's some value in the Cowboys here. I'm not sold on the Packers, and that's just because of their offense. I don't think they have it yet.
Jerry doesn't need to give Parsons a tribute because Parsons will have his wallet with him on all the money the Packers are paying him, so that's his own tribute. And the one person who will not be rolling the red carpet out is Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
That's for sure. This game, you get the storylines, but this game doesn't need hype. Cowboys on a Sunday night and the Packers is always going to drive handle. It's easily the most bet game so far this week. Like the Ravens, I thought the Packers got caught looking ahead a week. The Ravens actually want to stick it to the Chiefs and the Packers. And the Packers are talking undefeated last week. Like, what? Why'd you do that? Packers have won 5 straight in Jerry's world. Both teams mid 50% against the spread off a loss. Packers with a better record. I think the Packers win, and I think the Packers win big.
Ooh.
Was it the playoff game where they won the coin toss, took the ball, went straight down and scored?
Yeah, definitely drama here. I actually do agree with Jerry, though. Like, does Micah really deserve a tribute? It's not like he won them a Super Bowl. But
Move
a lot
on.
of talk.
So, do you give a tribute to your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend?
Exactly. No. Okay, let's get into our picks of the week. Favorite NFL game to go over?
I got the Eagles Bucks go over 43.5.
Panthers Patriots over 42.5, which was 42.5 half an hour ago until I said something to Joey, and then it went up to 43. So now it's
Crazy how
43.
that happens.
Yeah.
Favorite NFL game to go under?
Like the Texans Titans under 38.5.
Yeah,
Like it.
I like that. Chargers Giants under 44 for me.
Yeah.
I think Jackson Dart's going to really struggle.
Absolutely.
I got to worry about those pick sixes, though.
He might be, or he may or may not be on the list.
Favorite NFL team to cover the spread?
I like the Panthers this week against the Patriots. I think just Panthers slightly underrated still, even though they looked terrible first 2 weeks, but they finally showed up last week. Good
Let me
for
just
them.
say this because it's my NFL pick of the week, and I don't want you to say it first, but I think I like the Saints to cover 15.5 is crazy.
0-2 teams against teams with a win. I've got a tremendous record, and it's even better when they're on the road. I think it's like 69%, something like that. I did look because the Saints were. That's why I picked the Saints last week.
The best part about the Saints is,
And that money's come. That
could
was 16.5.
Yeah,
It's now
they
15.
could be still like down 3 touchdowns, and in the fourth quarter
Backdoor.
you're still in it.
Yeah.
You're still. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, there's no way you
Insane.
can lay the Bills.
That's a
over that.
smart pick.
Yeah, that is smart.
But your favorite team to cover?
It's easy. It's the Ravens, 2.5 over the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into the upset of the week. What do you guys like?
Rams had a brutal loss, so I'm taking the Colts to beat the Rams and to see maybe they are the Commanders. We'll see. But yeah, I like.
Is this
the
an
Colts.
emotional hedge?
It could be an emotional hedge.
Yeah.
Either way.
I struggled to find one this week.
Yeah.
Maybe the Giants at a stretch. Maybe he comes out looking like Phil Simms and the quarterbacks of the 80s for the Giants, but I can't see it. But the crowd will be behind him. Maybe. No
Maybe.
real opinion.
Yeah, it's
All
a tough
right.
week.
And the Chargers have got to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like college travel, which now is clearly a stat and a trend people have to look at.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Any NFL weather to watch?
No, not
No.
even in Dublin, which I was hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the. Yeah.
Back to Dublin. No thanks.
I like it. That'd be a fun game to go to. Okay, let's
It's
get
not in the nicest part of town, and it's at an amateur stadium, which is the GAA stadium. So I don't know what the field conditions will be like. Because
We
they
will
never
see.
allowed professional sports there because they had some treaty
Oh.
years ago.
Oh. Well, let's get into our anytime touchdown parlay. 1 pick per person. 2 weeks ago, we cashed 18-1. And last week, we were 1 leg away from cashing.
Whose leg?
Joey, but I will say, Joey, you were correct. Caleb Williams did have a field day with the Dallas defense. He just did it with his arm. Like, who would have thought?
He was running though. I was getting close. I was like, oh, maybe he can get in.
I thought it was cashing. I was in the airport. I was like, this is happening. What was it, 50-1? Yeah. So we're back this week. We'll bring you some more value. Joey, start us off.
Okay, I'm going again against the Dallas defense because I do think they're terrible, and I'm taking Jordan Love at plus 450.
So
I
you're
like
going
it.
quarterback against the Cowboys defense again.
Yep.
He's got a formula.
I got a formula.
Formula didn't win last week.
You got close.
It was so
Okay.
close. All right, I'm going Tyreek Hill plus 135. If Tyreek Hill goes into week 5 with 1 touchdown for the entire season, he better ask for a trade.
The
That's
trade deadline's coming, don't worry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Craig?
I liked 3 of them big time, but the one I'm broken record. I'm opposing Jake Browning. If this was work, it'd be workplace harassment because I'm going the Broncos defensive special teams. What are they now? 480, 580?
450, 425.
Okay, so Joey keeps shorting all the prices on my picks, which comes out around 70-1.
So you're kind of doing the same thing, though. You found a formula and you're sticking with it,
If
just
it
like
ain't broke,
Joey.
don't fix it.
Yeah. See how the tone changes. Okay, I like it. I like it. What's the price?
70s, off the top of my head.
Yeah, 71.
Always giving you the value. Let's get into our game picks.
Well, in all fairness, I can pick a loser for the next 8 weeks and still be profitable.
Yeah, I know. Let's get into game picks. 1 college, 1 NFL. Who wants to start us off?
Well, first of all, you're in the lead still.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
What?
But I got a question. I learned a new word, and we need to fit check this hoodie. I mean,
Yeah.
Check.
I don't know if I love it or if I hate it.
Is that a
but
Rams?
It is the Rams one. It's the rivalry edition for NFL.
Oh, I like
I don't know if I love
it.
it. Don't know if I hate it, but yeah.
I'm on rivalry edition cheerleader TikTok where they're like showing all the cheerleaders' new uniforms. They look the exact same as their original uniforms. I'm a little confused, but that looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you went after the wedding on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay. Right, I'm going to go first. Boston College -6.5 over Cal as my college one. I'm really going to start tracking this travel.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah. And I'm going to stick with the Ravens over the Chiefs -2.5.
Ooh. All right. Joey?
We'll go Ole Miss LSU over 55. Lane Kiffin says take the over. I'm going to listen to him. And then I got the Ravens -2.5 as well.
Genius.
I like it. I kind of wanted to stay away from some of these games, but I am going to go Ole Miss money line and Saints cover 15.5. I just can't not take that. So
Spencer Rattler,
we will
generational
see.
drive.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our episode. If you don't already, follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure you follow at Caesar Sports on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. Guys, anything you'd like to say before we wrap this episode?
Good luck.
Good luck. Bet responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed for another crazy weekend.
Hope so. Makes the weekend go fast.
Makes it fun, right? Bye.